Hi, it's James from Winners, and today we're at Harley Farms to give you a behind-the-scenes look at where the beef in our gift box comes from.
I'm Chef Adam Ward. As James mentioned, we're at Harley Farms in Keene, Ontario, and we are talking with Mr. James Harley, the owner and proprietor of this farm.
Hello, I'm James Harley from Harley Farms, and it's great to have you guys out and show you a little bit of what we do.
So James, how and why was Harley Farms started?
So Harley Farms started with my parents who were farming back in the UK. When we moved over to Canada in 2000, we continued farming in our regenerative style and doing grass-fed beef, sheep and pork. Harley Farms as a brand started when my sister and myself took over the business from my parents. We wanted a way that we could get our high quality products directly to customers, so we decided to brand it under Harley Farms.
So for those that don't know, what exactly does regenerative farming mean? And in a nutshell, what are the benefits both to the consumer and to the animals?
So regenerative farming is what you can see all around you here today. Is having the cattle out on the land. You can see that we have permanent pastures here, so it's bringing in all the carbon in from the atmosphere and into the ground. The benefits for us, other than the environmental aspect, is we can graze our cattle out like this. You get top quality grass-fed beef, which is great for the cattle, great for the environment, and it's a great product for the consumer at the end of the day.
Okay, and I guess we had talked about the fact that the cattle can roam free reduces a lot of the stress level relative to how cattle are typically farmed. Is that correct?
Yes, you can see them walking around here. So basically they're in the environment they want to be. They're not confined, which is really reducing the stress on the animal, which means that we can farm them basically with no antibiotics or any really interventions. So the cattle are healthy, so then that means we at the end we have a good meat quality, which then passes on to the consumer in a good healthy meat.
Great. And what type of breeds do you use here?
So majority of the cattle we use are Herefords and Galloways, or Galloway Hereford cross.
Okay, and why those specific breeds?
We like them breeds. They are very hardy cattle, so in our cold winters they do thrive. They also finish very nicely just on grass, so there you'll get a nice end product just off of the grass, nothing added in. You will notice that they are a bit smaller in size, but that works in perfectly for grass-fed system, because your finished weight is definitely a bit smaller, so you got a lot more tender meat that way.
What are some advantages and challenges of not using antibiotics in your beef?
The advantages is going to be a lot healthier product. So everything we put into the cattle is going to come through in the meat. So we don't want to be putting antibiotics or anything else into our cattle for our consumers at the end. I wouldn't say we don't have a great deal of challenges. It's just being observant and keeping an eye on what's going on, checking the cows every day, and you get used to what to look for pretty quickly.
So the Canadian government has some pretty ambitious goals with reducing the amount of CO2 emissions in the atmosphere. And with 1/3 of those emissions being a result of the commercial food industry, how does your business model actually help to sequester some of that carbon?
Yeah, definitely. So regenerative farming in general, having a green cover on the ground at all times, it pulls so much carbon into the soil. You'll see a lot of fields when you drive around that are just in cropping, they're bare most of the year. This is constantly pulling carbon out of the atmosphere into the soil, because we have something growing here as long as we can. Even when it's under the snow, there's still grass growing. The other big part of our business is we are very looking to help the environment. So there's a lot of our lands here that we don't even farm. They're put into wildlife conservation. We plant trees. We really try and work with nature, not against it in our system.
So like a city guy like myself, you can obviously go to your local grocery store, or you can even go to like a high-end gourmet store to buy different types of beef or whatnot. But what are the real advantages to kind of knowing where the beef comes from to a consumer?
Yeah, it's great for the consumer to get to know the farm it's coming from. You can talk to the farmer, and most farmers are pretty honest. They'll tell you what they're doing, and if we have people come up to the farm, we're very open. We do tours around the farm, and then you can see for yourself. When you see meat on the grocery store shelf, you're just relying on what the label says there. You're not relying. If you're buying direct from the farm, you can go and you can see what you're getting, where it's coming from, and happy with what you're taking home.
Yeah, that's all important. And at the end of the day, I guess for the average consumer, really knowing where the beef comes from, that's where they're going to get the biggest kind of benefit from a health point of view, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like with our beef here, all grass fed, you can come out here and you can see that what we're feeding the cattle. You can see the cattle, and you know what you're eating is then high quality and what you want to be buying.
Yeah. So I mean, I think after you come to a place like this and speak to James and kind of see the livestock and really begin to dig in and understand the philosophy, I think you get more excited than ever to eat, because you know it's not just about, like you said, filling up.
Yeah.
You feel good about what you're trying to do, and yeah, I'm excited to eat.
I just feel I'll eat more of it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's a good experience, and yeah, we thanks for coming out.
Thank you so much for having us out on the property, man. This is a fantastic farm. This
No
is
problem.
a privilege that
Anytime.
few people
If you want
understand.
to come back, that would be great.
Awesome,
you.
we definitely will.